You're watching News Channel 2 Nightside with Stan Stovall, meteorologist Norm Lewis, and sports with Scott Gurso.
Tonight we once again attempt to solve one of the mysteries of life. Yes, it's another episode of How Do They Do That? This week, How Do They comes to a new time, namely right here on Nightside, and takes on a new kind of topic, something scientific and substantive, dealing with life and death. News Channel 2's Andy Barth joins us, and get a little heavy here, Andy.
Well, it seemed like a good idea for something different.
Yeah.
We'd already explored weighty issues like making cheese curls and putting dimples on golf balls. For this, we look to the heavens and ask how the radar system and control tower at BWI keep us alive.
Allegheny 3704, Roger. Number 2, follow dash Alpha. What's your eventual destination?
47, Baltimore approach. Expect vectors to the visual approach, runway 33 right.
Cleared to land, runway 28, hold short.
Northeast, squawk 1200. Radar services terminated. Frequency change approved.
Bye-bye.
Let's suppose that Stan's been covering the Pope in Rome, Scott's been doing a game on the coast, Mary Beth's been on assignment in the Caribbean, and I've been covering ice fishing in Mexico. We're all arriving back at BWI at 11:30. Why don't we crash into each other? To understand the answer, you have to have faith in the tower and the people in it. And you have to believe in radar, the invisible transmission of radio waves that can bounce back to track the movement of planes in the air. But your life depends on the air traffic controllers.
Air traffic control, the flow of airplanes is sort of like a dance. The controller is the conductor.
45 Papa, your landing traffic will be a dash 8 on a 3-mile final for 33 right.
Baltimore's airspace, we have a certain predetermined amount of airspace that we own, and it's our real estate, so to speak.
Ed Boyd was a dispatcher for Baltimore County Fire and Police before becoming an air traffic controller. In a way, the logic he uses now is the same as then.
So if you're flying this way at 8,000 feet and Scott's coming this way at 8,000 feet, we'll assign Scott 7,000 feet, or at least 1,000 foot of altitude separation.
Which makes sense, except that Scott and I are both moving at 3 or 4 miles a minute and show up only as blips on a radar screen. Every light is a life, so every step is planned and controlled.
Basically, a pilot files a flight plan. Ground control will then taxi the planes out to the runway. Departure controller will then climb the aircraft up to the maximum altitude that we're allowed to climb. The planes will be assigned a descent. The plane lands, turns off the runway, is turned over to the ground controller.
But how does this really work for the small pilot as well as the jumbo jet? Well, Henry Davison is flying us from Westminster to BWI.
Cessna 588 off of Carroll County, overboard climbing to 2.5. 588, landing Baltimore.
They're watching us on their radar?
Right.
Cessna 588, you're cleared to teardrop, turn back into runway 28 and cleared to land runway 28, wind 290.12, hold short.
And before you know it, we're on the ground. We get the same consideration as U.S. Air.
Cessna 588, roger. Turn right on runway 422, contact ground control 121.9.
Henry Davison has been flying for 50 years, and he believes the air traffic control system works.
They can call out traffic to you that you may not even see.
What's the most dangerous part of what we did today?
Driving to the airport.
If that's true, and statistics support it, it is the low-key, no-problem, tightly controlled but hanging loose people in the tower who keep planes spaced and safe, even at push times when they come and go at the rate of more than 1 a minute.
Piece of cake. You just get used to it, and you go with the flow, and you take problems in the traffic as they come. You need to be flexible, but there's a definite system.
Or so Scott and Stan and Mary Beth and you and I fervently hope.
No, there's no hoping about it. We ensure that.
Piece of cake.
If that sounds a little like a wing and a prayer, it's not. Radar usually works. Pilots don't go where they're not authorized, and we won't all land at exactly 11:30. Now, tomorrow night we're going to go for another form of transportation. If you've seen my friends here covering an entire bus, not a panel, but the whole rolling billboard, we'll tell you how they do that.
Yeah, first of all, let me thank them for getting me home safely from Rome. But I got a question for you, and it doesn't happen often with all the flights that take off and land every day, but when it does happen, you have a near miss.
Right.
What has happened in that situation?
Well, somebody's been wrong, though it's hard necessarily to know who it is. If the pilots have followed the instruction of the air traffic controller and those instructions are right, they're separated by a safe distance. When they come too close, either the controller was wrong or the pilot didn't follow the directions, and then you have an investigation that will find out which that is. Fortunately, as you say, it's pretty rare.
Exactly. All right, Andy, look forward to the next part.
Good, thanks.
Okay. Coming up next, meteorologist Norm Lewis has your complete weather forecast for the work week. Is Old Man Winter making a comeback? But first, for all you lottery players out there, a look at tonight's winning lottery numbers.